Leila Almaeena is the founder of Leila Almaeena Coaching and Consulting. Coming from a corporate background, Leila understands fully how challenging it can get to draw a balance between personal and professional life. Having worked her way through it, she has now dedicated her life to helping others understand the wheel of life, to redefine success, and to pay attention not just to corporate growth, but emotional and spiritual growth too in the long term. It's about time we have this discussion and untangle the knots. It's time to reassess what we are doing in our jobs and awaken ourselves to creating a healthy environment at work. And no one explains this better than Leila.
What is the focus on health and wellness in the corporate world in this region?
Well, the amazing thing is we're in the UAE at the most remarkable time. The UAE is leading in this concept of happiness and wellness in the workplace. At a federal level, they understand that that has a direct effect to the bottom line. It has a direct effect to the longevity of people living here. And it really is starting to spread. I mean, I was recently in Saudi Arabia and they've adopted the same approach as well. So it's really a fantastic time here in the UAE.
How can we start making people feel better and happy at the grassroots level in the corporate world?
Well, initially it starts with management. If the management's drive is towards a harsher, more dry kind of environment, then unfortunately it's going to cascade down. We have to make sure that we assess what's going on. As a coach, I go into the corporate world, I look around to see what's the retention, what's the turnover. That is the biggest indicator as to whether or not the environment and the culture is helping the development of employees. If it's at a low level, then we know we need to go in there and speak to the management level first. If it's if it happens to be where the employees themselves are not engaged, it could be many factors. One, they may be placed in the wrong position. Two, perhaps maybe there's not enough development programs for them. Very rarely it's about money alone. It's a combination of different things.
What is the biggest challenge that corporate world is facing right now in terms of health and wellness?
The biggest message I have primarily to the management sector is this message of work harder, work longer hours, and that's when we'll give you accolade is absolutely detrimental. Reason being is it causes fatigue, it causes burnout, and not everybody can keep at the pace. We have a demographic that's very young and a demographic who have families and children. So it's very important that this message is not pushed to the working team, because it really does bring on very negative effects long term.
So that brings me to a very important question, is how do we redefine that?
It's about assessing what's missing first. Are there development programs? Are there enough activities within the scope of the environment where people feel engaged? The most important thing for an employee, I feel, is they need to feel that they belong to something, that they are part of something bigger. And the way to do that is to kind of create a very family-oriented environment, one where there's fun and there's dynamic activities happening around them, color, vibrations, because this type of environment is what keeps one going and engaged. Keeping in mind, we spend most of our time in the office, and if we have to kind of block off our vulnerabilities and our emotions and be very stiff and dry, long term that's not going to work.
Exactly, and that obviously spills over in all aspects of our lives.
Absolutely, and this brings me to the whole concept of the wheel of life. You have several different categories that make up you, right? There's the development, there's the family, there's the health, and that's why it's great sitting with you, because you've managed to kind of fulfill all of those, Uma. And that's another area that I really feel strongly about. There's this focus on one area, career, money, and what's happening is things like family is falling off the wayside. You have health, you have development, self-development, even fun things that you want to do. And so what my message is really geared towards is making sure that those particular areas are also looked at to make sure that there's balance across. Many times people come to me, they don't really know, they're just like, I'm stuck, there's something not right about what's going on.
Can't pinpoint.
Exactly. And so what we do is the Wheel of Life, where they are able to assess where the areas that need more work, and then we work on that.
how can we create that balance in the corporate world? And how can we basically train the management to create that balance in everyone's lives?
Again, the message is very loud and clear on a federal level. People need to be happy at work. And again, my message is not to be foolish or to have a culture that is very irresponsible or lazy. Absolutely not. What I'm trying to kind of give out is the message to make sure that we induce this almost like an annual system where we make sure that there are many plans and programs that are helping employees develop their skills. At the same time, they're having fun doing what they're doing, and there's a succession plan for everybody so that there's a long-term outlook for them, not just a very short-term one.
Yeah, and the vision that the company has for the employees, so that they know they are a part of something big, a bigger picture.
Thank you, Uma. And this is another thing that we see a lot in companies is they're very unclear about their vision, mission, and values. And when you don't know what your vision, mission, and values are, you're unable to then meld with the rest of the team, because you're bringing in people who might be against your values, or you're bringing in a team that may not necessarily match the long-term vision. So really it starts with management. If management don't have that kind of sense in them, it becomes a little bit more challenging. We do work on that, but it's a little bit more challenging.
So on a personal level, if I am in an organization where I am feeling a bit lost and I'm not getting that help from the management, how can I bring about a change in myself and people around me?
What I would ask anyone who's struggling with their work is, if they're waking up constantly with these pangs of anxiety every day going to work, then there's something they have to change immediately. So they have to look into what it might be. Is it their position? Because many times it's not the environment, right? It's just the position they're at. Another thing for them to look into is why? What changed? Have your values changed along the way? Maybe they have. Maybe that person has decided for them it's better to go off and create their own thing, or to engage into something a little bit more creative. Because there are left-brained people and right-brained people and people who use both. And the creativity part is primarily on your right, and the more logic and more stiff stuff is on the left. So you'll find a lot of people are placed in the wrong positions for them. So this is pretty much what I would look into initially.
So Leila, what a healthy environment, work environment look like?
You will know right away by the faces of the people working there. You walk into an environment, and if they are smiling and energetic and bouncing off the walls and running around, then you know it's a healthy environment. A healthy environment is one that incorporates a lot of development programs, while at the same time there's value towards each employee, no matter what they're ranking, from the lowest rank to the highest rank. Succession planning and making sure that they celebrate every activity that they possibly can, any calendar event that happens. This is very important to engage employees.
What is a perfect leader for you? How can he or she can make a perfect environment at work?
A perfect leader is one who engages his team. It's not an employee-boss type of relationship. It's a team environment. A good leader is one who gives credit. This is very important. Gives credit to the people who have done the work. And to make sure that there's that constant valuing, because value is very important. We all want to feel valued, right? So this is very important as well. So a leader who has that engaging kind of attitude and makes sure that he's quick to know what is missing and try to incorporate those things, and one who's also a friend to his team. Because if you're a friend to your team will be a lot more reluctant to want to leave, right?
At the end of the day, I also feel we need to redefine the term success. You know, success is not just about achieving things and earning money. Success is being happy in what we are doing and where we are and who we become ultimately. And I think coaches like you are really helping people redefine that success in their mind and so in their lives.
Right. This is our drive at the end of the day, and this is something that's very important and why I'm here, really.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It was very empowering and enlightening.
Thank you. Thank you.